Hi, we're continuing our investigation into how artists express themselves. The artist we're looking at today is a French artist called Henri Matisse. I'll show you what his work looks like. This is one of his most famous artworks. It's called Icarus. We're going to recreate it. I'll show you what you need. I'm going to use 3 pieces of A4 paper. I've got a pencil. I've got my smallest, sharpest scissors. I've got some PVA glue that I've put into a bowl, cotton tips, so I don't get my fingers so dirty. And I'm going to use blue, black, red, and yellow watercolor paint. Now, the first thing we need to do, and I'm going to use the magic of video, is paint an entire piece of paper as blue as you can. You're going to find that your brush strokes will show. A way to avoid doing it is to dab it with a sponge. We also need an entire piece of paper coloured in black. For the red and the yellow, we don't need so much. I've just done a tiny bit of red and only a small portion of the paper yellow. So mine is all ready to go. It's dry. I can start cutting it up. Attached to this presentation is a PowerPoint, and you're going to find on the last slide, slide 4, I've helpfully flipped it horizontal. So I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to take the black piece of paper, and on the back I'm going to draw the shape of Icarus. So what happened with Matisse, right at the end of his life, he was pretty much entirely blind. World War II was on at the time, and there were bombs dropping in his backyard. He was quite a famous artist at the time. He couldn't see, and he thought, oh no, I'm going to die. So he was really inspired to try and leave some work behind. And he had a whole team of assistants who would colour in paper, and he did this work by collage. This one was made in 1947. Famous. Okay, so I've pretty much got my Icarus shape. Doesn't have to be exactly right. Okay, with my fine scissors, I'm going to cut it out. So this is going to stick onto the blue. If you're wondering who Icarus was, it comes from a Greek story. So there was a guy in Crete called Minos, and he was the king, and his wife gave birth to a monster called the Minotaur. So he hired somebody called Daedalus, who was the best architect in the land, to build a maze that the Minotaur couldn't get out of. And after Daedalus finished it, Minos said, wow, you're really handy to have around, and he didn't want him to leave. So Daedalus thought about it, and he used science, and he constructed wings so he could fly off the island of Crete. So they were made of feathers, and they were made of wax. And he had his son Icarus with him, and the big escape comes, and they're flying off, and Daedalus always said, don't fly too close to the sun. And he did. And the wax melted, and his wings fell apart, and he fell into the ocean. So that's who Icarus was. It's used as a metaphor for a lot of things. Not listening, flying too close to the sun, which one of those many meanings Matisse wanted. You'd have to research to find out. So now, when I turn this one around, I have the first of those stages. Okay, I'm just going to cut a little circle out of the red. If you wanted to do a heart shape instead of a circle, absolutely. That one goes there. And in the yellow part, I'm going to draw the stars. Just realized, as soon as I turn that around, suddenly it becomes reversed. Oops, didn't think of that. I changed my mind. When you're drawing this, don't look at the flipped horizontal part, look at the one before, slide 3. Otherwise you'll get what I get, which is a reversed image. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars. And again, this is about you, so do the stars any way you like. Alright, I've got my 6 stars. I'm going to cut them out really carefully. I'll pause the video so you don't have to watch. Okay, I now have all my pieces. I've got my blue background, my black figure, 6 stars and a red heart. So I'm just going to apply my glue. I'm going to do a nice thick layer. I don't mind touching it with my fingers. When it comes to drying it, I'm going to put it in between 2 heavy books, nice big books. Because the watercolor paint is quite powdery, I need quite a lot of glue and I need it to be strong glue. Okay. Alright, ready for the heart.
But that's a circle shape.
Thank you, Jared. I know I actually did suggest that if you wanted to cut it into a heart shape, you're certainly welcome to.
You didn't want to?
No, I'm doing it like the original. Okay. So mine's opposite to what he did. There's no right or wrong way. You can put the stars wherever you like. When you do this sort of work and you copy another artist but you change things along the way, it's called appropriation. There's a lot of reasons we do appropriation, but the main one is to learn from the skills. So this was a great artist who found himself blind and he still wanted to create artwork, and this was a way he found to do it using collage. So now I'm going to dry this, not just dab away my excess. And there we have it. Icarus by Matisse, appropriated by Mr. Nicolai.